Alright gamers, welcome to Retro Time. I am Gnosis Chime, and in this video I just wanted to get into looking at this list of the 6 choices for Game of the Year nominee from the Video Game Awards. And I just want to give my take on what I think should have been in there instead of this list that we're getting. And it's solely based on my own opinion, so if however you feel, you can put your comment down below and just let me know. But let's get into it. Alright, so we're looking at the list of games of the year for this year. Alright, now, my take on this is that there are games on here that I feel like shouldn't even be on here. And my thing about this is, I'm not going to get mad about this, obviously. But there are, like, 3 games on here that I think are absolutely overrated. And let me break down and explain why, okay? So, Alan Wake 2 is one that can stay. Alright, but Baldur's Gate 3 is too overrated. Alright, it's like every D&D player hopped on board playing games, video games, and are now playing this game right here on PC. And it has overtaken the video game industry a little too much. And going deeper as to explaining why, it is because Baldur's Gate 3 had 2 other games before this that were not that popular. Why all of a sudden, when this one comes out, the D&D crowd hops aboard the video game train, and then we got this game becoming Game of the Year. This game is in every single category almost, if you break it down. But I just wanted to talk about this one right here. Like, if I had to pick any 6 games, I'll go over that in a minute. But these right here, there's 3 in this that I don't think should be in this. And there's 2 more that I'm going to explain why. But first of all, like I said, Baldur's Gate 3, I think it's a highly overrated game right now. And there's a lot of reasons why I think that. So to explain, like I said, it is overrated. It didn't come into the gaming scene till late. A bunch of D&D players hopped on board of this game, tabletop players, and started playing video games and just remotely said it was the best entire game ever, okay? Now, let's go on to my next reason. Let's go into the other 2 games I don't think should be on this list, okay? And what later on we'll go over whatever replace them with, and for my reasons alone, okay? Now, Marvel Spider-Man 2, alright? That right there, another very, very overrated game. And it's because the way they released this, it's not Spider-Man to me. It's not Spider-Man. And to go into explaining why, Spider-Man has always been one Spider-Man, okay? Why did you decide to put 2 Spider-Mans into one game, into a sequel? That's something that just doesn't set well with me, and that's why I think this game is also very, very overrated. And, the talks of what's going to happen in the future, I've seen a lot of stuff revolving around the future of this game, and I don't like the direction it's going. So I would take that off the list for... Oh, I bumped the mic. I would take that off the list for my own opinions and my reasons. So now, another one that I see on here that I don't care for, and I think is just a bunch of BS. Resident Evil 4. This is a remake of an old game. And now, I'm going to go into a game after this that should be on this list too if we're going to put remakes onto the list. Alright? This should not be on here because it's simply a remake. Alright? This should just literally get taken off the list for the fact that it's a remake, remaster of a game from a long time ago. Okay? Alan Wake 2 can stay. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. It's an okay game. It's still fun. I wouldn't have kept it on here. So, technically, I want 4 taken off of here. And Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom can stay. Alan Wake 2 can stay. Okay? So, my thing about these is I have only played 2 of these. Okay? But I watched somebody play Liza P. Alright? Now, Liza P should go into this. Liza P should go into this 6 games, okay? Because I watched it, and it's unlike any other game I've seen before. The uniqueness behind Liza P really, really sets well with me. Now, I do want to get around to playing Liza P at some point, but, you know, I don't understand why it didn't make Game of the Year at all. So, I would put Liza P where Baldur's Gate 3 is, because Liza P is basically Elden Ring with the Brothers Grimm aspect of a really cool story. Pinocchio, exactly. Alright, and replacing more of Spider-Man 2, I would put Starfield in there. I would put Starfield in there because they didn't give Xbox's place on this at all, actually. It's kind of weird that they didn't put anything Xbox related onto this list. It's like Xbox's Starfield just got pushed out of it. But like looking at statistically, Starfield did take home a lot of money after it got released. So like you can't really shun a game that was highly anticipated out solely because you just didn't. A lot of people didn't care for Starfield, but looking at statistically, you can see that there are a lot of people that were playing Starfield when it first released, and a lot of people are still technically playing Starfield. It didn't go quiet. There are people, I can go through my Twitter account right here and find somebody playing Starfield somewhere, and then you go over to Game Rant, and you can see a whole bunch of articles about somebody did this in Starfield, which is really, really, I think the list should be revised and have these two taken off. Now, let's go into this. I didn't play this, but there's a remake I would put in there, and it's a Nintendo remake, okay? Because me, I said it myself. I was like, well, what if remakes get put on this list? We got a remake. We got Resident Evil 4 remake. Alright? I didn't play this remake, okay? I haven't bothered to touch it, solely because, one, I just don't have the, you know, if I was to play that, I would want a better graphics card, of course, but Resident Evil 4, for me, it shouldn't even be on this list because it is a remake. If I was to put anything in this list that would have replaced this, I'm going to be honest. Armored Core 6 did pretty good this year. I would replace it with, like, Armored Core 6. So, I don't like most of these games. There are 3 on here that I do like. Just one I like more than all of them, and of course that's this one because I played through this. There's something really, really that sets well with this Zelda game for me. It's not the story. I guess it's the gameplay and the open world roaming aspect of, you know, discovery and exploration. But this can stay, and this can stay. I don't like these 3. And I don't know, I just don't care for these 3 games. You know, I don't hate Resident Evil. I just didn't play this one yet, and unfortunately, if I was to replace it with the remake, I'd replace it with Metroid Prime Remastered, because I played Metroid Prime Remastered, and it didn't even get put onto this list, which is, like, amazing. Because, I look at it this way, you're remastering a game, but yet, you're not putting it onto the Game of the Year. But yet you put one remake on there, which is completely unfair. Liza P should be in this remake spot. Liza P should be right here alongside of everything else. Because these are all new games except for this. This is a remake and a remaster. So there's something I would have put there that's entirely different. But again, this is just my take and my opinion on this list. This list isn't the greatest list in the world. Some good games came out. I had never been very excited for these 2. A lot of people got hyped. I just wasn't excited for it because of my own opinions and my own reasons. You know, this right here I would take these off big time. But that's just me. Anyway, let's get back to me. Alright, so there you have it. I'm not a huge fan of that 6 games that they picked. Unfortunately, I feel like there is way better for that selection and list. There's a bunch of stuff I would have put in there that isn't on there. Liza P definitely should have made Game of the Year. It was a really unique story, and as for gameplay, Oh, it's good. It's just good. It's very unique compared to games we've been getting. You know, who would have thought taking Pinocchio and putting it into a game based around the idea of Elden Ring would be a great idea. Um, it just was really cool, and I watched somebody play, and I do want to play it still. But yeah, I don't like this list very much, and there's a couple games on there I would love to just take off, and I feel like this is a contest based on like, you know, this isn't what the people would have chosen. I think the way they should do this is like give a list of stuff and have the whole video game community select and vote out of all the games what they want on Game of the Year, and I think the list would have been a totally different outcome. The person that's making this are judges that are not actually. Jeff Keighley made this list. Okay, he made this upon games he chose that he thought everybody would have liked. All right, and now I will say this: even though I don't like Baldur's Gate, there's a lot of people out there that might have liked it, and the list might have still had Baldur's Gate on it. But looking at this entire list, we have one game from months ago, months out. The rest two games that were months ago down the road. And the rest are a list of games that have recently been dropped on us within the past few months. Like, and I'm saying in a spurt of like 2 months, 2 to 3 months. And, Spider-Man 2 should not be on that list, in my opinion, because that just came out too recently. Alright? I think that should be taken off. I think we should base it upon games that came out in a certain time frame. Like from the beginning of January. Or like back sometime in October to this October. And build a list that way. They gotta redo this next year. Like, I hope they do this differently next year because I would like to see the list be entirely different. A lot of these games are like brand new games that just came out, and I don't like that. I think we should I think people should have went back and revised it. But my opinion, again, my take, I really think next year I hope we see more games on the list that are like far out in advance, so that way we can see more of a selection on there instead of what we got. And also, I think next year things could be done differently. I think there should be a voting list of what games should be Game of the Year. Like, give us all the games that were really, really good for the entire year, and have us all go to the website and vote like a couple weeks before the event, and then narrow it down to 6 games you see as the top, and then have people vote. And then see what wins from there, because you don't know. You don't know what it could be. And that's the great thing about it is I think if the people got more of a say, I think the award system would work a lot better. Just my opinion and my take. But there you have it, guys. I hope you like this here. I'm ending this video right now. So that was my take on the top games of the year, the top 6. I think it could be different. But just my take and my opinion. And with that said, guys, I hope you like what you saw here. If you did, hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And hit the notification bell to get more from me. And you'll be seeing this next time on Retro Time. Game on, gamers. That was well said.